Our speaker today will be Casper Aldrich from the Center for Devices and Radiological Health at the FDA, and he will go ahead and present for about 45 to 60 minutes, and it will be followed by a Q&A session, which I will facilitate. And if you haven't submitted questions to me already and you have them as the presentation is going, please send them to me via the questions feature on your webinar screen. It's towards the bottom. You'll see a tab that says questions, and you can just send them to me, and I'll read them in the order that I receive them. And Casper, welcome, and thank you for presenting today, and I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, my pleasure, and thank you everybody for deciding to learn a little bit more about medical device reporting. I think the easiest way to begin to do this is, since I can't see your face, I want to work with your mind. And so how I want to look at this is we're just basically going to take a field trip through medical device reporting. And so what I want to do, just metaphorically, is have you sort of step back from all of the individual ideas or requirements in medical device reporting and understand first that we need to look at a forest in terms of what this is trying to do, and then look at the requirements that you have as you go through this forest, and that would be working with the individual trees. So let's go on to the first slide, and here you can see, just in terms of the landscape of what this regulatory requirement is, it's based on the statute, and of course statutes are written by Congress, not by FDA. And in terms of what Congress did, they started actually in 1983 to require medical device reporting to FDA because of some problems that were coming up with devices that were not being reported to FDA, and they were causing some very serious problems. So Congress implemented Section 519A of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So for all the lawyers out there that like numbers, that should help you. And the two statutory provisions that amended the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act that sort of set up this landscape. The first actually was a medical device amendments, and then the more significant one that's applying now based on how it amended the MDR regulations. We have the Safe Medical Devices Act of 1990. And just as an aside, when the Safe Medical Devices Act was put into effect, it really created, some significant reporting requirements for industry. And one of the things that's worth remembering about this forest that we're going to be going through is there are some very common themes with medical device reporting, corrections and removals, which is about recalls, and we're not going to cover that today, medical device tracking, which applies to very few devices, and then some other reporting requirements that we really don't need to get into. So anyways, you understand the statutory landscape that's going on here and how this relates to the statutory mission or public health mission. This reporting requirement, if it's not fulfilled, if you don't follow the rules here for medical device reporting, the way the statute works is that the product becomes misbranded. And so we have two types of charges that we bring. It's either adulterated, the thing itself is bad, or misbranded, the information about the device is bad. So in this case, I have written down the section of the, I haven't written down the section, but it's misbranded under Section 502T for those of you who want to have specific information. And then what the statute says, if you don't follow the rules that are in the statute, then you're prohibited from putting that device into commerce. And then we have all sorts of enforcement. So that's how the statute lays out the landscape. This is what you have to do. It violates the law if you don't do it, and then FDA is going to take its standard enforcement actions. So let's go on to the next slide, and so you can begin to see how the regulation actually operates. So, of course, Congress wrote the law, then FDA promulgates the regulation to explain how we're going to implement the law. So basically, in real blunt terms, how FDA has populated this forest with trees is that for this particular area, we want you to tell us the bad things that have happened. And those bad things are put into three categories.